Yo, 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 this is Lee Laurent, and as always, I'm here rocking with all urban centric. And it appears that Oscar-winning actress and comedian Monique is actually her son speaking out again, but this time on different terms. It appears her oldest son, Shalon, is now issuing a public apology in response to his previous video where he didn't paint Monique in the best picture, especially as a mom, which kind of perpetuated the rumor and the stigma around her being difficult to work with. Anyway, check out the video and tell me what you guys think.
Gratitude towards my family. I'm going to start this off by showing my gratitude towards my family. The amount of patience and grace that they have all shown me, especially during times where I did not deserve it, is appreciated more than I can ever express in words. Making those videos a year ago was a betrayal against our family, and I have to take full accountability for it. Why I made the videos and how I was feeling at the time when I made them is irrelevant. I made them and I shouldn't have, period. My family did not deserve the backlash that they received from what I said. Having a life's resume with your family as the one in the family who simply just can't get right, and then finally doing what you're supposed to be doing, didn't give me the right to feel self-righteous when I felt like they didn't notice. My mother and Sydney were very justified to address my mental health condition at the time. I just simply didn't like it. Taking accountability can be hard if I allow it to be. Bottom line, I was wrong, and I shouldn't have said any of what I said. I should have just kept my mouth shut and called my mother. Having that family discussion was hard, and it felt like I spiritually got jumped, but at the end of the ass whooping, my family did pick me up and give me a hug. The love my mother has for her family and the way that she loves life is a testament to her husband. It's a very humbling experience when your little brothers have a valid reason to want to punch their older brother in the face. But it was my brothers who had the idea for us to have the conversation in person, which would prevent me from running from it. And even after they heard all the shit I put our mother through, they still gave me a hug, told me they love me, and then we laughed for the rest of the weekend. Who they are as men and who they are becoming as men is also a testament to the caliber of man Sydney is and has always been since I've known him. My mother wakes up every day with a smile on her face and nothing but joy to give. And I take full accountability once again for taking that relationship away from my children. Now, watching her take pride in making my son's baby food from scratch, to baking chickpea chocolate chip cookies with my daughter, to being with me the first time my son went underwater in the pool, makes me so happy to have been so wrong before. Life does have a way of showing up for you, even when you don't want it to. Making the decision to go no contact with my family hurt me more than I could have ever imagined, which in turn trickled down to me not being the best man, father, and future husband that I could be for my family. For those that use my words as a way to further a narrative that my mother is difficult to work with, that her husband is controlling, or that she is anything like the character that she portrayed in Precious, I also apologize to my mother for the things that you said about her. If it wasn't for me running my mouth, y'all wouldn't have ran yours. For those that left comments telling me that at the time I should not have been saying what I was saying, I appreciate you for holding me accountable. Whew. I owe it to my family to make this apology public, due to the fact that I made our family business public. Though the road to family redemption is hard, I'm looking forward to it. For those that showed me support at the time but also put up prayers for us to work it out, thank you. Now these are some receipts that I'm very happy to share. Thank you for listening.
Initially, this all stemmed from the video and the interview that Monique had with Shannon Sharp that went viral. It had millions of views, and she discussed her estranged relationship that she had with her oldest son. This is also during Monique's hardest time in her career when she actually explained how she was blacklisted. And rather than her son go to her aid, he took what she said about their estranged relationship to heart and used it as a call to action. If you guys don't recall the video, here's the original video of him talking about Monique.
Some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe. I need to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and be emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script. It's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the clip Shay interview that she did where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling me a lie. Faith without work is dead. Neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly in my experience will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with the conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human, but my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that
consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent, and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay? But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those things were supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then He gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I didn't do that. And when He told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. That is not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive, I'm happy, I'm a dad, I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water, I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with three other sons. And God willing, I'm sure that all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. You know, I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but you know, the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, and I'd appreciate it if she stopped saying stuff like that.
Monique did receive a lot of backlash from her son going live. It obviously perpetuated this whole stigma around her being difficult, and now a bad mom. However, her son also received backlash for speaking out on her. This actually made him speak out again.
For every person that stated I should not have come to the internet, I would just like to ask, what do Club Shay, the articles about my mother and I's relationship, the interviews about our relationship, and Instagram all have in common? Well, if you are competent, the internet.
Monique finally decided enough was enough, and she gave a response to her son online, along with her husband, aka Daddy, whose real name is Sydney. Check it out.
Individuals with the mansions, with the cars, and all of these things, in the words of our great ancestor, Bob Marley. Some people are so poor, all they have is money.
Come on.
Don't be that.
Come on.
Don't be that.
I'm sorry to be chocolate. When I hear my son, when I hear you, Shalon, talk about money and stuff, it's like, baby, as I told you when you were younger, I told you as a man, don't let nobody introduce you to me. You know who your mama is.
And when folks speak in reference to calling your seed, sometimes, especially when your seed decided to call things off with you because you didn't move for a 34-year-old, 32-year-old man in the time that he wanted to do, because you as a mother, you as an entertainer, you as an actress, you as a grandmother, you as a wife, allotted the time to see him, but he pushed you away. But then when it's time for him and it doesn't work for you, now it's a problem. Listen, it comes a point in time where when you become a man, when you become a woman, it is your obligation to do for you. To do for you. At 31, brother, 32, I'm sitting there on a conversation at the behest of your mother. Why? For you. Because I love my nephew. And we still love you, Shalom. That's why your mother and your father interact with one another, to let them be aware of what's happening with you. So if you think you're not loved, that's because you're not paying attention. And there are other dynamics that fall into play in which we completely understand. And for you too, we're going to keep the light on for you. But I find it extremely ironic that the last time you saw me, you wanted to be able to call me dad. And I couldn't allow you to call me dad because there's only one dad in your life. And he's a friend of ours. He's a friend of ours.
It seems like Monique and Sydney had to respond online. And honestly, all of these issues seem like they stem from him feeling a sense of abandonment, of her finding the love of her life, and then obviously mothering 3 new children with her new man. It's good to see that obviously all is well, and Monique finally has the opportunity not to only reconnect with her oldest son Sheldon, but with his children, giving her the opportunity to be the grandmother that she always wanted to be. I mean, who doesn't want to age and obviously all that they worked for and have that being provided and given to their grandchildren? Definitely giving the fun granny, but we're just really happy to see that she has reunited with her son, and they have been, obviously, all these years of trauma and pain is finally released. But as always, what do you guys think?